Welcome back to the Garza Gaming Channel. Today we're going to talk about the 9.11 buffs and nerfs that's coming out this Tuesday, November 15th. Now there is a lot of information to cover, and if you saw the stream that they did on this, dude, it took forever and just confused the crap out of everybody. They were so unorganized. So through this video, I'm going to go ahead and cover everything and try to touch bases on every buff and nerf in a quick manner so this video does not drag on, right? So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here we go with their 9.11 update notes. Right now, there's a lot of information to cover. I'm going to cover it relatively quick so we don't drag this video on, right? So we're going to get a bunch of new skins, especially for the RuneScape event, right? I wasn't much of a RuneScape player back in the day, so I guess most of the people that actually played RuneScape might lean towards more to these skins, but these skins I actually didn't do much for me. The only skin that really interests me in this battle pass or this update was that Chibi Medusa skin, because you guys know I love the Chibis, right? So these skins right here will come out next Tuesday, and then we're going to have a bonus update for 9.11 that's going to come out November 29th. Is going to give the additional 3 skins of your Pele, your Nike, and your Ganesh. All right, so let's get into this, man. So the first thing on the chopping block of nerfs or buffs, right? And that's going to be Bancroft's Claw that's getting nerfed. So they're decreasing the shield size from 0.75% to 0.5% per stack. The starter item, Sands of Time. So this is more like for your the level 1 for your like Pendulum of the Ages, right? They increase the true damage towards minions from 10 to 5, which is pretty good. You have Empiric Shroud. They totally reworked this item. So at the start of the level 1 of this, they increased the magic power from 20 to 30. They removed the 5 physical protections that you got, and they removed the 75 health. They increased the magic lifesteal from 5% to 7%, and they added 7 points of magic per 5 seconds. Now, the Vampiric Shroud, right, the upgrade from this item, or Sacrificial Shroud is the upgrade from Vampiric Shroud, I should say. From this one, they gave it 115 magic item power, 15% magic life steal, increased the physical protection from 20 to 40, and they removed the 100th health that this item used to have, and then they added 15 MP5. Now, I can tell you that you used to lose 5% health every time you damaged an enemy. I'm not seeing that in here, but I do believe that's still going to be the case with this item, so keep that in mind. The Blood-Soaked Shroud increased the magic power from 75 to 95, which is a very big jump. Removed 55 physical protections, so they took away the physical protections from this item, and then they increased the health from 200 to 30. So they took away physical protections, but they gave you 100 more health, and they gave you 15% magical life steal, and added 15 MP5 to this item. Now this is a big one, especially for you Discordia players, right? Soul Gem got buffed, man. So they decreased the stacks required to actually trigger it. Before it used to take 4 stacks to trigger it, now it's only going to take 3, man. So expect to see a lot more player damage on you Discordia players, right? Now Chronos Pendant, they decreased the cost of this by 100 gold, which is really cool because on a lot of my mages, I like to pick up that Bracer of Brilliance, which costs an additional 800, right? So by, reducing the cost of my Chronos Pendant, so a lot of my builds are pretty much going to really benefit from that. So that's really cool, especially early game, right? Now, Agni. So Agni, what they did is they actually buffed him a bit. For his Flame Wave, they increased the base damage from 90, 140, 190, 240, 290 to 100, 155, 210, 265, and 320, right? So it looks like he got a 30 points of damage at late game on his Flame Wave. Now, his Rain of Fire, they increased the base damage from this one by from 120, 160, 200, 240, 280 to 140, 180, 220, pretty much 20 across the board. Let's just say 20 across the board. That's what they increased the base damage on Rain of Fire, right? Okay, Anubis, his Plague of Locusts. Anubis finally got some love, right? They decreased the cooldown of this where it used to scale down from 15 to 11 seconds. So now it's going to be 11 seconds across the board. Whether you're level 1 or max level, your Plague of Locusts now is going to be on an 11-second cooldown, which is really, really nice. Discordia. her number one got buffed on it. This is a little starburst. They increased the base damage from 75, 125, 175, 225, and 275. And they just pretty much increased it by 10 damage across the board on this one. I don't know why they pull this out. Just say increase it by 10 across the board. It makes it that much quicker. Now, increasing this, her number one by 10 across the board, plus being able to detonate that soul gem earlier is going to be really, really big for Discordia. I anticipate seeing some higher Discordia damage numbers for a lot of the Discordia players, without a doubt, without a doubt. So Hera, they increased the range on her fist attack, right? Her deploy her hands attack from 45 units to 50 units, which is pretty cool, pretty cool. And then her divine shroud, right? At one time they actually nerfed her shield, and it looks like they're giving her back a little bit more damage to the shield late game. So it's going from 70, 110, 150, 190, and 230 to 70. So number one, the first level stays the same. 115, 160, 205, and late game 250. So you're getting 20 more damage protection, hit points protection on the shield late game. So for her little invisible fog, her mysterious fog, right? Mysterious fog, I should say. They did decrease the cooldown on this one by 2 seconds, from 15 seconds to 13 seconds. Dude, that is huge. That is really big. 2 seconds is big, man. Especially when you got to remember that this was 15 seconds no matter what level you were. So that's really good. Now, Scylla got a little bit of a buff for against minions, right? And jungle camps. Her crush now does 20% more damage. This is one that I did not understand, but hey, man, I'm going to take it with open arms, right? And that's Zeus. Yeah, Zeus, the king of damage, actually got buffed, right? So his chain lightning, they decreased the base damage of this by 10 across the board, and then they increase his detonate damage, his boom, by 10 across the board. So that is pretty, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty significant. That's going to give him a lot bigger of a combo going into this, right? Especially when you come into thinking or take into consideration too how much of the penetration buffs we got in the last few updates, right? So taking consideration the added penetration plus adding 10 damage to 2 of his main attacks, dude, that's going to be huge for Zeus. Now the Morrigan is getting a little bit of a nerf, right? So the Morrigan, her deadly aspects to decrease the damage to minions by 50%, right? So it went from 30% to 15%, and then they decreased the magic power scaling from 80% to 70%. Now her Dark Omen to decrease the initial base damage, bonus minion base damage, and bonus god base damage from 40, 70, 100, 130, 160 to pretty much 5 across the board. Let's just say 5 across the board for Dark Omen, right? Now her channeling, or changeling, I should say, increased the cooldown of it. They increased the cooldown of it from 140, 125, 110, 95, 80 to 140. So level 1 stays the same to 130, 120, 110, and 100. So they increased it by 20 seconds late game on her ult. Okay. Titan's Bane. Increase the cost of this from 2,450 gold to 2,500 gold. So they raised it by, it's going to cost you 50 gold more to buy Titan's Bane, and they decreased the physical power on this by 5. So they decreased it by 5. So it took a 5 damage or 5 physical power nerf on that. And they pretty much married this thing with Obsidian Shard as well. So what they end up doing is increasing the cost of it by 50 gold, and decrease the magical power scaling. You get this from 100 to 90. So they actually reduced this by 10, which is funny because I think they just upped this not too long ago, but you know, it is what it is. So that's going to kind of suck, especially for a lot of those mage builds that we use, like a Zeus, right? But by adding that extra 10 to his damage to Zeus, it's going to pretty much counter this, I believe. Another big mage item that they nerfed was Staff of Meriden, right? And what they ended up doing is they decreased the buff that you get when you ult from 25% to 20%. So you're going to be doing 5% less buff. And this is that buff that trickles down, you know, it scales down after you hit an ult. So for big gods like a Zeus or even a Kukulkan, this item, you know, it's really big on them. Now, the Crusher. So the Crusher, they also decreased the power on this one from 45 to 40. So it looks like they're trying to target our hunters, to tell you the truth. And then AMC, this is another one I don't understand, dude. They nerfed AMC again. And this is a huge, huge nerf for AMC, right? So his swarm, they decrease the base damage from 60, 105, 150, 195, and 240 to 50, 90, 130, 170, and 210. They took away 30 damage from his swarm late game. And then they nerfed his ult again, right? So his stinger, what they ended up doing is reducing the cooldown reduction buff that you get from retrieving it, right? So instead of getting, receiving a 60% bonus to cooldown reduction on this, now you're only going to get a 60% cooldown reduction bonus on that. So that sucks. That definitely sucks. So Warding Sigil, they buffed this a little bit. They're giving you a little bit more magic protection from 10 to 15. Berserker Shield, increase the physical protections from 40 to 50. That's really good. Increase the damage mitigation from this item's passive from 7% to 10%. Dude, that is a huge, huge buff for Berserker Shield. Holy moly. Mystical Mail, they increase the health that you get this by 50. So you can get 50 more hit points from this, and increase the physical protections you get from this from 35 to 40. Well, that's pretty good too. That's very good, especially for I love using this on my Ares build for sure. So Runic Shield buff, they increase the magical power debuff Aurora from this from 40 to 50. And then the Sledge, baby. This is another big one that I love using, especially on my assassins, right? The Sledge. So what they end up doing is increasing the physical power scaling on this one, or physical power you get from this from 35 to 40. So they gave you 5 more physical power on this one, and then they increase the protections from melee type damage, from physical damage, from 8 to 10. So you're now going to get 10 protections per stack, but the magic you're only going to get 8 per stack. So it's going to be per stack is going to be scaling physical protection 10, magic 8 per stack. So that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Thorns of Overgrowth buff, right? So you increase the reflection damage from 25% to 35%. Wow. 10% damage buff on this one. And then they increase the max damage reflection from 120 per level to 140 per level. Wow, that thing got buffed big time. That's pretty good. I never used it, but heck, for those that do use it, hey, I might have to look at possibly using it, because that is a huge, huge upgrade to that. Now, Thorns of Sapping Strength. This one, they increased the lifesteal debuff on enemies from 25% to 50%. Wow, they doubled that. That's insane. And then they increased the max damage reflected from 120 to 140. Ooh, man, it looks like Hades is getting a little bit of a nerf. So his Devourer's Souls, right? What they ended up doing, they ended up decreasing the detonate damage from 20, 27, 34, 41, and 48 late game, which is very odd the way they did this, because now it's 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So you're going to get 2 more damage late game, but your early game is getting cut by half. You're only going to get 10 damage early game. So what they did is they pretty much shifted most of his damage from early game to late game for Devourers of Souls, or Devour Souls. Okay, so Gilgamesh is getting above, man. His Sunforge attack is Gilgamesh now gains 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 HP 5 while this ability is active. Not a big thing in Arena, but I'm sure for the other modes, that's probably a big thing. But this is the big one for Gilgamesh, that big one. His dropkick, they reduced the cooldown by 2 seconds. 2 seconds, man, across the board. So that is huge, man. I remember when most of Cerberus's attacks were at 16 seconds, right? And then when they reduced it to 14 seconds, dude, you could tell a very, very big difference, especially late game with full cooldown reductions, dude. Gilgamesh is going to be a drop kicking fool. You watch. Sun Wukong, he got a buff. His undefeated body increased the physical and magical protection Sun Wukong gains from 1 to 2 per level. So they doubled his protections, which is very big. His Master's Will, they increased the duration of the slow and the attack speed slow effect from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So it's pretty good buffs there. All right, the Drowned Ankh, they increased the healing debuff from 40% to 60%. Bracer of Illumination, not Bracer of Brilliance, what we love using, right? Bracer of Illumination. They increase the power buff on this one when you're above 50% from 10 to 15, and when you're below from 15 to 20. Yeah, use Bracer of Brilliance, is better. Cloak of the Avatar, right? Increase the health and mana restore from 10 plus 3% to 30 plus 4% of their missing health and mana for each pulse. Wow, that's a big, big buff for Cloak of the Avatar. Scorching Blink Ruin. Increase the duration of the damage over time after leaving the area from 1 second to 1.5 seconds. Yeah. Emblem of the Trembling Terror. To decrease the threshold to trigger the tremble from 15% to 10% of the target's max hit points. Wow. And then increase the duration of the tremble CC from 1.5 to 3 seconds. So they doubled the tremble time on that. Dude, that is huge. 3 seconds is a long time, dude. 3 seconds is a very long time. I might have to look at this one too. Now, Hasted Wings buff. They increase the movement speed buff from 20% to 25%. And Tangled Wings buff. Increase the movement speed from 20% to 25%. Sundering Siphon buff. They increase the duration of the effect from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. And then they increase the percent current health damage per tick from 5% to 8%. So you're getting a 3% more per tick, which is huge, dude. Increase the total damage from 20% to 24%, and it happens a lot faster. So it's going to be faster churning. Okay, I don't use that anyway. I don't even know what the crap it is, but it is what it is. Spirit Robe, right? So this is getting a buff. They decrease the cost of it from 2,500 to 2,400, which is really good. So it's going to be 100 gold cheaper. Gauntlets of Thebes. So this one, they increased the number of stacks. They increased it. So you have to get 5 more stacks to max this thing out, right? But with that said, even though you're going to have to get 5 more, you're going to get more protections out of it. So what's going to end up happening is once it's fully evolved, instead of getting 50 for each school, you're actually going to get 55 for each school, which is going to be really, really nice. Okay, Sylvanus. So Sylvanus is getting buffed again, which is crazy. It's Nature's Bounty, right? This ability now increases to 1 second CDR at level 15 instead of at level 17. So you're going to be able to get that 1 second cooldown reduction a lot faster from this, which is really, really nice. His Verdant Growth, right? So for this one, they decrease the cooldown from 16, 17, 14, 13, and 12 to 15, pretty much 1 second across the board. So they decrease the cooldown as Verdant Growth by 1 second across the board. Xing Shang. So his Hook Slam, right? They decrease the cooldown on this one by 2 seconds. Dude, this is huge. This is gigantic for Xing Shang. I'm really, really happy for this because this is one of my favorite Guardians, dude. Okay, Gilded Arrow. So they increase the attack speed buff from successfully getting the kill blow on the marked target from 20% to 25%, and increase the mana restored on this trigger from 20 to 30. Whatever, I don't use that. I don't know many people that do anymore. Upgraded Diamond Arrow. Increase the attack speed buff from successfully getting the kill blow on a marked target from 25 to 20. Yeah, whatever. Oh, Griffin Wing Earring buff. Let's see what we got here. Increase the physical powers from 40 to 45. Cool. And from magical from 70 to 80. And then they increase the attack speed from 25 to 30. Dude, that is pretty cool. That is definitely pretty cool. I really like this item on my Hemdelir. Hemdelir works really, really well with this item. Because, you know, those lobs seem really slow from him. So this works out really nice. Okay, Chronos. So for Chronos is Accelerate, right? So they increase the attack speed effect of this from 15, 20, 25, 30, 35% to 25, 27.5, 30, 32.5, and 35. So in late game, it stays the same. And then they increase the effect of a section 3 from an increase of 25% magical power to an increase of 35 magical power, which is huge. That's 10% more magical power on this. Now, I don't see too many Chronos in Arena. In fact, I haven't seen Chronos in Arena in a long time. I might see like maybe 1 or 2 a month. So who knows, man? Maybe this will help. His stop time, which is pretty much his result, increased the base damage from Oh, maybe it's not his ult. I thought it was. Increased is it's not. Increases base damage from 50, 70, 90, 110, and 130 to 50, 70, 110, 125, and 150. This ability now has all target. This ability. This ability hits all targets twice. Okay, so what they meant to say is this ability hits, not hits all targets twice from 100, 140, 180, 220, 260 to 100, 150, 200, 250, and 300. They just had a typo that just confused me. That's all. Donzo Burrow, right? Donzo, dude, they're buffing this dude too. So his dubious savings, right? So increase the physical power gain per pounds from 6 to 10, dude. So that's an increased max from 24 to 40 physical power. That's insane. That's a huge jump from Donzo. And then his full gold increased the base damage from 70, 115, 160, 205, and 250 to 85, 130, 175, 220, and 265. So you're getting 15 more late game with 15 more early. It's 15 across the board. You're getting 15 base damage across the board. I wish they would just say that and save us time, right? So Hachiman, so he's getting buffed too, man. His Eagle Eye, they increase the Eagle Eye shot basic attack power scaling from 110 to 110 across the board, no matter what level you are. So 10% more on his base damage, right? So a Heavenly Banner, they increase the duration on this one also for 6 seconds. It's going to last you 6 seconds across the board. It's not going to go 4 or 5, whatever. It's 6 from level 1. No matter what rank you are, it's going to be 6 seconds. So that's a huge buff for Hachiman. Ishtar, like Ishtar needed any more buffs, right? But her backflip, right? Her jolt, they adjusted it so now what ends up happening is you get more immune frames. I guess before you weren't getting the proper frames, so you were able to get hit before you did the actual backflip. Now I guess it's going to fall more in line, so you're going to get the immunity, a little bit earlier and coming out of that backflip. Okay, Serrated Edge, decrease the cost on this one from 2,650 to 2,500. I personally think it should be 2,300, but it is what it is, and increase the physical life steal from 10% to 15%. So that's not too bad. Basset, Razor Whip, increase the dot damage physical power scaling from 20% per tick to 25%. Dude, that is huge for her. Clean flickering vision. Increase the physical power scaling from 70 to 80%. Dude, that is a big buff for Kalina. But yeah, man, that's pretty much everything we have in this new update. So keep in mind, it's going to go live here next Tuesday, November 15th, with the other, with a bonus update and that's going to come out on November 29th. But that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. Dude, I'm telling you, if you watched our watch party for the stream, it just dragged on for like 2 hours, man. So I didn't want to run this video too long, but as you can see, there's going to be some really nice buffs, but some pretty stiff nerfs, especially in the way of AMC with this 9.11 update. So hey, man, what do you think about this update? Do you think it's a little stringent, or do you think they got a little loosey-goosey and went a little bit overboard on some of these buffs, man? Put it down in the comments down below. I'd love to see what your feedback is on these buffs and nerfs for 9.11, right? And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, man, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. I'm Garza, your OG on the GC. See you next time.